10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, good evening, welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes again for another show. Unbelievable. I'm knackered, but we're doing it because when I say I'm doing something, we do it. I've got John, as always, this is his show. He says it's not, but it is his show. And I've got Al, who met John not that long ago. We were hoping for Denver Mags, but they seem to be a bit late. Hopefully they'll join us soon. But the whole idea of this show, just to put it out there, this is literally to get to know all the fan groups in America and fans that we have over there and anywhere else in the world. To come on and have a chat and tell us why they love Newcastle United and why they've decided to follow the club for however long they've followed it. And it's just nice to get those faces on Twitter that you talk to every day to come on and actually speak in front of a camera. So it's going to be amazing. Let's bring in the host, John.
How you doing, Baz?
I'm good. I'm getting over this cold slowly.
Yeah, I've got some kind of congestion bothering me, but I think it was all the dust that was in the air in Kansas.
Oh, that's not good.
Because I drove over here, and I met some great people yesterday. And I was gonna pull in somebody new, but it turns out the best thing I could do is just kind of highlight what we went through yesterday at the Denver Toon Army. So we got some guests. I'm hoping that Josh and
they've made it. They're here.
They're
here.
Made
it. They are here. So we've got a full show tonight, which is going to be really good. Man flu season is terrible now. I think I've got mine from working too hard. I think that's the reason why.
That's probably it. You're burning the candle on both ends, buddy.
I am. Back to work tomorrow on night shift. Let's bring Al in. Welcome, Al. Thank you for joining the show. It's amazing to have you on. How are you?
I'm great, fellas. Nice to be here, and thanks for the invite.
No, that's amazing. Like I say, John sorts out all the invites. I just give John a platform to talk to people. It's great.
It has a really interesting story, and he's a young man who I met yesterday, and just had to get him on. My only contact in Denver was Josh, but I met some people that I'd actually bumped into before during the summer series, and then I just happened to sit next to Al, and it was great, carrying on with him a little bit. And I brought some things over. I gave him a program from one of my visits last year. So,
wow,
lovely gift.
He's a solid fan.
Good. We're going to hear all about it very soon. And we've also got Josh and Cam. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it. They bring beer as well. Throw one over here. I wish I could. I really do.
Yeah, we were like rushing. Cam sadly is in the hunt for a new vehicle, so I had to run over and pick him up and came back. So yes, but
man, sorry to hear that, Cam.
Yeah, life, it happens.
Yeah, it happens to all of us.
We're definitely not going to go there tonight. First of all, Al, let's hear your story. Why are you a Newcastle fan, pal?
Oh, well, as I was telling John yesterday, it's a bit of a funny one, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can relate, but as I was younger, I grew up playing soccer or football, but
Stop 1 second. There's a dirty word on my show, and it's called soccer. Football.
Well, we have to say it. There's another kind of football over here, and you confuse people in America.
That's handball.
Ooh, that is
I'm not having
it. The Goal movie that everyone knows so well.
Never watched it.
Yeah. And well, I'm a Mexican myself, and I don't know, just Santiago Munez in the movie, Mexican, and immigrant parents. He's in the United States in LA, and goes over to Newcastle. And I don't know, I mean, something about the club, the badge, the kit, something caught my eye.
Yeah.
I followed, in bits, and it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years ago that I really, really, started following the team.
It's amazing. It sounds like they wrote the movie about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are Santiago Munez. Everyone, he's here.
Yeah.
He's been puts one over every week.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So what did you get up to? You were with the Mile High Magpies as well, were you? With
Yeah.
Josh and Cam?
Yeah, I sure was. I got to meet Al. I got to meet Cam. I had corresponded with Josh, and of course, you and I did the podcast with Josh once before.
That was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? It was a great show.
So it turned out I have a family trip. My wife and the grandson just left to go to the other room that we've got for my son and his wife.
You should get them in.
Well, they just took off to go to a wedding, so that's why she's watching the grandson.
Right.
And we never know what he's going to do. But
yes.
So she went to the other room. But yeah, I was up here for that trip, a family trip, and I said, this is finally the time I'll get to see the Denver Mags, and it was fun. I met Jackie and Al and Cam, and of course Josh was there, and a few other people. There's one guy from Newcastle, I forget his name, that I had seen on the summer tour.
Yeah,
Graham.
Yeah, Graham.
Yeah, Graham. So I mean, it was just fun. I saw a few faces I knew, and then we did a silly podcast, which I don't even know if it really caught on, but. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was, fun. It's always fun to be with another bunch of Geordies.
Oh, hell yes.
A bunch of magpies. So
that's what this show is all about, fun and silly. That's why we do it.
Oh,
we heard Josh's story, why he was a Newcastle fan and how it all happened. Cam, this is your debut on the show, so welcome. How are you, a Newcastle fan? I can see you've got the old top that we wore in the FA Cup final, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah. It's 97,
98.
Yeah. Got beat. Take it off. I'm joking.
So I had a friend back, I don't know, when I was in middle school who was a Newcastle fan. I'm not even sure how he got into following them, but I kind of started loosely following him. Someone that I played with growing up, and started following along with him, and I don't know, it just sort of stuck. I mean, that was more than 20 years ago at this point. I've been supporting. Definitely went some time where I wasn't following things as closely. Lived in some places where I didn't have anyone to watch matches with, and but moved out to Denver 4 years ago and found the Mile High Magpies, and have gotten back to my religious following of the tune.
Love it.
great.
So you obviously go way back. What was your first recognition of Newcastle then? So when you were supporting with your friend, what was the first game you remember?
I don't remember a specific game necessarily, but I grew up playing goal, and kind of idolized Shea Given. He was kind of what made me want to be a goalkeeper, and so I don't know. There were just more moments than I can remember watching him make kind of miraculous saves that
no one should be saving.
Driven me for years. So
yeah, he's brilliant. I just want to say, guys, because it's great to have some Americans on the screen now. I can finally rub it in your faces. Europe. We won that on the first day, didn't we? It was amazing, that 4-0 whitewash in the morning. But that's what you get for messing with Rory McIlroy. Not mess with the Irish.
That's right. Hey, I'm part Irish.
Exactly. Don't mess with John as well. Al, what was your first recognition of a game? What was the one game that you sort of watched and thought, wow?
Well, it wasn't really a game, but more like a player who first caught my eye was Hatem Ben Arfa.
Oh, yes.
Back in the day, and
Quality.
then the first Newcastle team that I really started paying attention to and keeping a close eye on was the team with Colaccini
Yeah.
and
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez and other fellas like
Tiote,
Tiote,
Kabag,
yeah, exactly.
Barton,
And Baba,
Nolan,
and-
Bar, Cisse.
Exactly.
I'm trying to roll the whole team off for you.
I know, right?
There was a few on there. That was a great squad, that, though. I mean,
very
Alan
deep.
Pardew was very lucky.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the last squad that took us to Europe, no?
It was. I enjoyed that ride. I went to a few games. We should have done a bit better, but we didn't. But we didn't sign anyone, did we? That was the problem. Vernon Anita, he was our answer to everything. Right back, centre mid, right wing, left wing, just put him anywhere.
Exactly.
That was terrible, wasn't it? Josh, remind everyone about your group and why you do it and how the stuff that you do. Obviously, you've done a bit with John today. What he's got up to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still dream of was it Ryan Taylor's freaking free kick from that Pardew era.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course Ben Arfa taking it up to who was it? Was that jeez, space on the team. We ran it all the way up from like practically the box to box hole. Anyway, So anyway, good memories of that as well for sure for me as well overall. But no, I started back basically in 2012 under the Pardew era when Newcastle famously beat Manchester United 3-0. And I looked around the bar and I was like, there were more Newcastle fans than Man U fans that day. And I kind of had the concept for Mile High Magpies. And I just kept showing up. And for the longest time, it was just me. But anytime somebody came into the Newcastle top, I'd go in and introduce myself. It was myself and the gentleman Cliff and this other gentleman Adam. And Cliff occasionally comes down, but these days he's got like a small child and wife and family stuff, so he gets down for the big matches. But he's still around. Adam, I believe, was here actually. I'm on a work visa from Newcastle, so I think he went back the following year. But it didn't stop me. It didn't deter me. I connected with this gal, Victoria, who worked with Dean Smith, who I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with because he founded the NYC Toon Army group, and he's actually from Newcastle. And then he later founded the group in Connecticut. And Victoria was like, get it started. I'll help you. So, again, my first 6 members in 2013 at that point were all like New York based. But at that point, we had a presence on social media, and I just kept showing up and kept posting match announcements, and we've just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And obviously the club's success definitely helped with that, and that of course culminated in 2019 with the Big Toon Army meetup. We flew Warren Barton out to do a live podcast and interview and interact, watch the match with us fans. And then we did the first iteration of scarves, and now we have grown so much. We have our beautiful second iteration of scarves here, which of course we've also sent John back with one. So we're now a big enough group to justify scarves. We're a big enough group to justify stickers. We're a group now that we're attracting a lot more members and seeing a lot more turnout. Especially for the late games, I felt bad because there was only 12 of them. Still quite a few of us.
I mean, when I first moved out to Denver, it was in 2019, but right after the season had ended, so I missed the meetup. It wasn't until the fall of 2019 that I started, met Josh and started coming out to matches. And there were a lot of mornings where it was just Josh and I down at the pub.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, the end of the Mike Ashley era, it was pretty difficult to sit and suffer through a lot of those matches. But it's really cool now, especially since the takeover and kind of post-COVID, the groups that come out. The group that comes out on a regular basis.
I love it.
Hey, I was going to ask Al when he met up with these guys and like when he started to go to the club, the Celtic.
So I'm only 22, so I recently turned 21 last year,
Oh yeah, forget about that drinking rule in America.
That's
It's
pretty good.
terrible.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, if I would have known about the Celtic earlier, or
You would
if I
have bought a
was
fake
a bit
ID and
older,
got down there sooner.
yeah, I would have been down there definitely sooner. But no, I remember I think I was telling you, Joshua. So last season, I made it to we went to go eat breakfast, me and a couple of friends, and as we were waiting for our line or our turn in the line or whatever, I kept seeing a bunch of fans walking up the road or up the street in Premier League kits. I'd seen Wolves, I'd seen Leeds,
Wolves
and
elite.
I was like, well,
Jesus.
what's going on, And I grabbed an Arsenal fan that I saw, and I asked him, hey, is there a bar or something down there where everyone's going to go watch these games? It was the last game of last season. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's called the Celtic. It's primarily an Arsenal and Newcastle bar. And I was like, okay, great. Well, we wrote it down, and it wasn't until obviously this season where we were able to finally go for the first time. And my first time there, it was actually Man United versus Arsenal. My friends are all Man United fans, and I tagged along with them. I came in neutral clothing. The bar was packed, 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 packed. You were just standing. You couldn't move around.
Wow.
No, I mean, I was that day. I developed a kind of personal hatred towards Arsenal fans now because obviously I was with that game was really intense. Back and forth. Rashford opened the scoreline, and then a couple minutes later, Odegaard equalized, and it was just back and forth, very intense. And I think Arsenal ended up getting a late winner.
Yeah,
in the
3-2,
90th.
94th
Exactly.
minute.
And when that third goal hit, that Gabriel Jesus goal hit, we had to bounce because the whole bar turned on us. It was loud. One of my friends, he had just brought his newborn baby and his wife,
Oh
and
no.
we sat next to this table of Man United fans, and they kind of would shield the baby and be like backing off these Arsenal fans, like, yo, 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 it's a baby, and we had to
Jesus.
get out of there. But no, it was a fun
Mental.
experience, and I was like, after that, I made sure to circle that fixture against Arsenal because I can't wait.
I love it. There's a great question in the chat for all of you. So we'll start with Josh and Cam first of all. Question for the Mile High Mags and Alvaro. Tell me the first thing you think of when you hear Newcastle and also England, and what would you like us in return to think about your American Mags or our American Mags?
Oh wow.
Good
I
question.
think the first thing I think about Newcastle in England is just what a beautiful community it is, and how every city in England and really across Europe always has a church at the center, and the fact that Newcastle has St. James Park at the center just really speaks volumes to how just how the club brings people together, and that is exactly what I've tried to mirror here in the United States. I would want everyone to know that they have a family here as Newcastle supporters, and we welcome everyone. And it's just such a sense of community, and I'm sure John can attest to this as we traveled for the summer series, just how nice everyone was, just how inviting everyone was, just how much we all just kind of came together and became friends, sometimes just based on Twitter handles. And the matches
X.
Always be Twitter to me.
It's what I was saying for me as well. Cam, what about you?
I mean, Josh kind of hit the nail on the head there.
He did, to be fair.
Very similar things. I mean, I think of Newcastle as one club city, and just the passion that I've over the years. Even just watching games, you can tell. Even over like the TV, you can tell the passion that the fans have. And it's a cool thing to think that even though I've never been to Newcastle, and yet I will eventually make a pilgrimage, but I haven't yet. But it's nice to think that those fans are, feel like I'm a part of that. And every single Newcastle fan I've met, whether they are, born and bred Geordies or from various parts of the U.S., seems to have just share that mentality. And it's something that, I've been drawn to for a long time.
Love it. Al, what about you?
No, well, when I think of Newcastle, I think of many blue-collar cities here in the United States, just hardworking people who, they go to work, go home at the end of the day, and they look forward to the weekends to see their club play, and it kind of it's exciting, the future. Obviously, after the takeover and everything, you kind of push forward in life and look forward, and you want to see the day when maybe one day we win a trophy or win the league, and yeah, I don't know. It's just I also think of Newcastle. I don't know, maybe because it's up north, but as cold and wet. I don't know, and I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know,
very
like, just
cold.
because of the pictures and stuff. But no, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hardworking people.
Love it.
Yeah.
John, I'm going to ask you the question as well. I think
Yeah,
it's a good question. I think you need to answer it.
Well, all three of those guys just covered it really well, because it is a very passionate community, and it is a community. I feel very much a part of it. My father was born there. Al said it's kind of a working class place, and my dad was born in Newcastle. I was born in Baltimore. Both, just really good, hardworking people, very humble. And Al was also right about the weather, and they're proud of that, and I am too. I live in Oklahoma. It's 102 degrees all the time. I'm happy to get over there so I can breathe. It's it's uh, it's wonderful. It's invigorating for me because it's 65 degrees and cool, and I just love it. But the people are awesome, and if I could say something to the Newcastle fans over there, yeah, you really got to believe in us, because there's a lot of Americans that it's so important to them, just like it's important to you, and we want to be a part of it, and we feel very much a part of it because of the love that you guys share with us every time we come over. It's great. It's terrific.
I love it. Julie says, great answers. Thank you all. Just shows doesn't matter where you come from, Alvaro. It can be a bit fresh, but also even I have got sunburn there. You'll be fine. I used to get sunburn all the time, to be fair. But I am built like the Milky Bar kid. So that'll be the reason why. Sorry, John, I cut you off there. What were you going to say there, mate?
Let's see, we're a bit spoiled too here in Colorado. We have 307 days a year, so.
Ooh, I like it. John, you were going to say something, sorry?
Oh, I've forgotten already.
I forgot. It's the age thing. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Leslie asks an absolute brilliant question, because it's 2 years next week. Or was it this Saturday? 7th of October, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The takeover happened. So where were you and what were you doing, John, when the takeover happened? Can you remember it?
I'm going to get emotional again. I was wiping tears away. I was watching, clips of 20 and 30-year-old people just going to the stadium, throwing the beer around. It's cans day,
Yeah.
It's drinking. They're carrying 6-packs up to the stadium to celebrate, and that's it. I lost it. I told my wife, "Do you remember I said we're going to go to a game, right?" And she goes, yeah, you thinking of going sometime? I said, yeah, next week. We're going next week. And we went and we saw Tottenham, and they played really well. We lost, of course, but Callum Wilson scored 2 minutes in, and the place was going crazy, and that was it. I've been over for 8 games ever since then, and I'm coming back this year for 5 more. That was it. Yeah,
I know some people in the Northeast who haven't even been to 8 games in their life, John. So it's amazing that you've actually travelled that far to do that many times. It shows the dedication, to be fair, and the love for it. Al, what about you? Where were you when the takeover happened, and what did you do? How did you celebrate?
So I'm a truck driver over here in Denver, and I was out on the road doing my route as usual every day, and I was getting notifications on my phone as I would tune in. Just like John said, those videos where all them fans gathered right outside the stadium. it just looked like an absolute party. You know, people dressed in Saudi garments and stuff like that. And no, it was just a very happy day. You know, and I'll obviously never forget it. And it was a long time coming. I remember hearing about the takeover for a year and a half, and never happening. And all the obstacles with the Premier League rejecting the very first attempt, and it was a struggle, and I just didn't know whether or not, you know, it would ever come true, and it finally did, and couldn't be happier.
Sensational, wasn't it?
Oh,
what about you two, or what were you doing? How did you celebrate?
So I was actually I was driving across the country. The takeover went through 2 days before my wedding.
What a gift!
I was somewhere in the Midwest driving for 2 days straight, and in the car with my now wife, who, despite all of my efforts, I cannot convince to be a Newcastle fan. She just has no interest whatsoever. So I'm all excited.
It's not for everyone.
You know, we're about to get married, and this is what you're excited about. I'm like, yeah, you have no idea.
Why are you marrying her?
You know, she has a lot of good attributes.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough. I actually remember, because I was reporting on it, doing my YouTube stuff as I do, and I was sitting, and I've literally put the tea out, because I actually cook sometimes. And I was like, do you know what's going to happen? They're going to announce a takeover while I can't be on air, and I'm just sitting down to have my tea. 10 minutes into my tea, ping, takeover completed. I was just like, fuck. I was like ramming down my tea. I need to get online. I need to celebrate with everyone. What's going on? I can't believe it. It was me, because we heard it. There's obviously 24 hours before it was going to go ahead. We sort of, you know, we all got the air in inkling, didn't we? And everyone was on Twitter going, it's happening, and everyone was getting excited, and it just rumbled, and then bang, you know, everyone was celebrating outside St James's Park. I wish I could have been there. Being in York, I wouldn't have been able to get a train in time and all that sort of stuff. But it was a good late birthday present for me, because my birthday's on the 5th, so it was a good late birthday present.
Hey, we still need to hear from Josh on that same question. But
yeah, sorry, Josh. I just assumed you were driving with Cam because you were best man for the wedding, so you were in the car with the same story.
No, so I kind of like started on the takeover early on. You know, I went to the Chianworth town hall on Twitter. You know, at that point, I had become, you know, a lifetime member with a Newcastle Consortium supporter. So I was following it really closely. And eventually it was kind of like, I just started posting like goofy memes of, you know, the famous Fox Mulder, I Want to Believe poster that he had in the X-Files. Only instead I would, you know, put up pictures of the place with the Saudi Consortium. So it was kind of like, I hope this happens, but I don't know if it will. And then when it finally happened, I was just in shock and awe. And I was actually like, watching the videos, and of course watching John on video, and I'm like, oh my God, he's there. And so I had a quick emergency post on Facebook and on Twitter, and it was like, get down to the Celtic, we are celebrating. So a bunch of us came down, and we just, you know, opened some beers and had some food, and my wife was there, my daughter was there, there was a bunch of us there, and we were just, you know, just so excited and so relieved. And of course then all the talk of like, who do you think we're gonna get? What do you think is going to happen, et cetera, and all the rumblings. So it was wonderful. It was great that, you know, we waited kind of for everybody to get off work, and we all, you know, got to celebrate together.
And he actually sent me a video from the Celtic of everyone celebrating. You know, I'm like somewhere in like, you know, Nebraska, like, driving along, like, man, that looks way more fun.
What you should have done is look over to the wife and said, well, wife to be, we need to turn around. I bet that would have went down well if you tried. Hey, anything's worth a try.
You know what hit me is something Josh said, that we all really couldn't believe it for a little bit. You know, it wasn't until I heard the Keith Downey report, you know, that they have been sold, and with immediate effect, you know. And then seeing everybody celebrate, that's when I realized, oh, this is real, because there's been so much talk,
Oh yeah.
for years. And I think Al brought that up. It's very true. You get excited, you think something's going to happen, and then it just goes away.
Yeah. So I remember one of the things was the season before the takeover. Like, it was just about to start, and I remember the takeover failing, and I was sitting at home, and I had pros and cons about getting a season ticket again when Mike Ashley's still in charge, and I was sitting there on the screen about to click buy a season ticket, and I went, the takeover failed, Barry. You're going to miss seeing your kids, but it's Newcastle. Yeah, but you're going to have to get on the train a lot and do all the travelling, but it's Newcastle. And all these pros and cons were going through my head. It's Mike Ashley. It's like, I don't want to give him any more money again. And I talked myself out of doing it. And then 4 or 5 games into the season, to Christmas time, October, takeover happens. I was like, why didn't I press that button? Gutted. So I could have had a season ticket again. I was just like, oh, but
Baz, I have an interesting story. I was looking at all the tickets and everything too.
Yeah.
And I almost bought a half-season ticket. They were offering those.
Yes, they were, yeah.
And I almost bought a half-season ticket. Then I found out through Shade's podcast that this lady, Kayla, from Philadelphia, actually bought a half-season ticket.
Yeah.
And then has continued on. And she's another person we'll get on the podcast.
Yeah,
she's
definitely
got an amazing story about how she connected with all the Newcastle people in Philadelphia. And now she knows everybody over there, and they know her. And her life has changed just like mine with all this. It's just been great.
It has been. I remember it's on the 6th of October. I put in my group chat with the lads back at home in Newcastle. I said, guys, the takeover's back on. The replies I got straight away were, fuck off, piss off, it's never happening. Why are you putting this in the group? Why are you being deluded? I was like, no, guys, seriously, it's actually happening. And it wasn't until the next day when the rumblings were all over Sky and everything. I said, look, I told you this is happening. They were like, all right, you got that right for a change. I was like, oh, cheers, guys. Thanks for believing in us.
Yeah.
That's your best mates for you, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Looking back even 200 miles away, we should have bought season tickets. Damn hindsight. I know. It's just like, why didn't I push that button?
Yeah.
Have you got? Yes, I've watched the documentary personally. Have you guys all watched the documentary?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I haven't yet.
Favoring it. Oh.
Oh, ow. That's terrible.
I gotta get to it one of these days.
Tonight. Today.
You'll start. You will watch until the end.
Exactly. Once you start, you can't stop. I had to watch it week by week, and I missed it because they obviously made a mistake, didn't they? Or did they make a mistake and released the last 2 episodes on the same night? And I went, I'll watch them in the next couple of days because I've got to go to bed. I've got work. And then I went to watch them, and I couldn't. I was just like, what the hell is going on? So I had to watch it week. I was gutted. Josh and Cam, what did you make of the documentary yourselves? Obviously the 4 episodes were very different. It wasn't what I expected personally, but what did you make of it?
Yeah, no, I agree. It wasn't quite what I expected. I think it really kind of gave an interesting insight into the kind of new team mentality that the new ownership and Eddie as manager brought in. I think the biggest takeaway I had was just the overarching feel of optimism.
Yeah.
It echoed the optimism that I've felt since the takeover happened. It got me even more excited about what's to come, and seeing a little bit of the things that seem to be coming through. Behind the scenes, like actually seeing that is in fact everyone's approach, is really a heartening thing. I'm excited about what's to come in the coming years.
Definitely. Next.
Well, I got a comment. I was going to say for Al. I enjoy We Are the Geordies.
That's good as well, yeah.
And I enjoy the there's another film, I forget what it's called. It's like
Purely Belter.
It's about the journey, that all Newcastle fans make, and that's free. That's up on, if you go to YouTube. And
I watched the one, Copa 90 and a documentary.
Yeah,
I think the video was of Wolves away game.
Mm.
Yeah, they do a series of away matches, and they talk about how far that Geordies travel to each of these away matches, and it's far more than any other team. And so I think those give a good flavor for what Newcastle is about. I do believe that the 4-part episode was primarily focused on what the administration
commercially, wasn't it, like behind the scenes, behind the scenes.
It's what the ownership and the team was building, and it wasn't so much about the fans and the experience of Newcastle during that time. But there's a lot of good parts to it. There really is.
Brilliant. Josh?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm thinking
Go on, Al, sorry.
As you guys were saying about the behind the scenes, I did hear a lot about that on Twitter, that most people were expecting it to be a little like, the all or nothing series, like the Spurs and Arsenal ones. But it was a lot more behind the scenes, financial, administrative, the board, and this and that. And I think maybe that's why I haven't come around to watch it just yet. But I know I have to. Definitely, I know I have to.
There is an amazing scene inside the dressing room when we beat Man United 2-0.
Yeah,
you get to hear Eddie Howe's speech. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
That's what got me to watch the whole thing.
Exactly. Then there's Dan Burn. They followed Bruno as well, and you get to hear the passion about Bruno behind the scenes with his wife as well and stuff like that. So it's not just all about the administration side.
Yeah,
there is the player feel about it as well, and there also fans are involved with doing their little speeches and stuff like that. So it is very different. And it's not a comedy like Something Till I Die on Netflix. Best comedy ever made. But
it's pretty different from each other too.
Yeah,
like there's a bit of evolution from like the start, where there's a little more about the team and the fans, and then a little more about what's going on behind the scenes. I found it really interesting. I enjoyed the whole thing. I definitely think it's worth watching.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they followed on each other, did they really, in a way? It was kind of like 4 separate sort of shows, wasn't it? It wasn't like a comedy show that went on, and they 4 followed each other. It was good. I did enjoy it a lot. But I did enjoy the Spurs one, though. You need to watch that as well. That is brilliant with Jose Mourinho. I really enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
John, any good questions? And guys in the chat, please, keep firing the questions. This is a whole point in it. It's getting to know the guys that you talk on to Twitter every day. So if you've got any questions for them, fire away.
I got a question. Maybe it's more a comment. Like, do you think that St. James Park is going to be even more excited about this match on Wednesday than ever before? Have you seen the videos of the drones?
The drones.
Yeah. Look at that.
Mad.
It's going to be spectacular. I think even without the drones, to be honest with you, we've been 21 years since we were last in the Champions League.
Yeah.
This is the first match back under lights. It's PSG. Mbappe looks like he's fit. Everyone says he wasn't. He was playing at the weekend. You got the best player in the world coming to St. James's Park, and it's a massive test. And it's our chance as fans to show the world what St. James's Park is like to play under. And this light show is just going to add to it. I think it'll add an extra 5%. I don't think it'll add a lot, because I think the actual occasion itself will be electric anyway, to be honest.
Well, I saw a post today that War Flags is actually working right now to get the stadium ready. So
exactly,
we're 3 days away. Good grief.
What I would like to have seen is Seller get involved with War Flags, because that would have been very interesting to make sure the display was matching what they were trying to achieve as well, rather than going against each other. So I don't know if they've had a conversation or not.
That's very good.
There'll be people with big flags might be under those flags and missing the light show. So you kind of don't want, you either want one or the other. I think it might get in the way of each other for some people, but I can't wait to see it.
I'm honestly trying to figure out where they put the drones where everybody can see them, because I think half the stadium won't see it, depending on where they put it.
Depends where you're sitting, doesn't it? I guess.
Yeah.
I hope they go and do the whole lineup. See the one with Tonali. I'm
Oh,
thinking.
yeah.
I think that's how they're going to announce their lineup with all the players.
I think you're right, because I saw one of Trippier also.
Yeah, Bruno as well. I think's been up.
Yeah.
Kind of gives the team away for Wednesday, though, doesn't it? We all know who's going to be playing, but I think we could have guessed the midfield anyway. To be fair.
Yeah.
Jealous, says Jules. Yeah, I'm at the game on Wednesday. I can't wait.
Good for you.
Who's Mbappe? Or Tino will eat him alive if Tino plays. I'm hoping I can see the drones from my loft. Yeah, you're not far away from St James's Park, are you? So hopefully you'll see it. It does look spectacular, though. I mean, Al, yourself, are you excited to see this, or do you just think it's a bit too flash? Or
no, I mean, 20 years is always a long time. To build this moment up the way that they're planning on doing, it's fantastic. And now we'll just have to see how it looks come game day.
I love the picture with the badge because that's taken from a massive distance, and that just gives you an idea of how proud and pronounced St James's Park is under the lights, doesn't it?
Definitely.
It's like everybody knows that's St James's Park. Doesn't matter where you stand in the city, you can see that, and it's just awesome. Our church, I love it.
Baz, that would be awesome, is to keep that up there like for an hour before the game. Just everybody marching towards that.
Yeah, that'd actually be really good. See it from miles away. I love it. That all depends on the battery life of the drones, doesn't it?
I know.
You don't want them falling out of the sky, do you?
I was thinking that, yeah. Hey, I got a question for the guys. So this blew me away. I don't know what your reaction is. Did you expect Tino to come in there and do such a fantastic job? Anybody?
I mean, that first game was ridiculous. I mean, the fact that he just scored on his debut, the fact that he has such a great work ethic. I mean, I feel like, you could argue that it's kind of like beginner's luck sort of thing, but regardless, even in the subsequent matches I've seen him in, he's done really, really well, and I'm definitely excited to see him a part of the squad. I feel like in a lot of ways we're probably going to see more of those types of players come in as some of these players begin to age out, or if they get bigger contracts elsewhere. I have a feeling, these are going to be the kind of players that Eddie Howe is going to be looking to in the future, that have that sort of level of consistency, as well as just that level of team spirit and being able to get in there and kind of do things without necessarily making a big name for themselves or necessarily being the star of the show, kind of like the antithesis of sort of the Alan St. Maximans and people like that we've had in the past.
Interesting. I love Tino's display against Man City. I expect him to be good, but I didn't expect him to be that good in his first full game, especially against Man City.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little bit skeptical of him, only because, I mean, a player coming back from 2 ACL tears.
Yes.
You gotta wonder, he showed a lot of promise as a young player, but, that's a lot to overcome, and can he maintain that ability? So, I was curious, like I said,
but he's young enough, isn't he, to get over that? If he was 27 or something like that, you'd be thinking, ooh, but he's only 20, isn't he? So,
yeah, he's 20. So, and he definitely, I think, lived up to the hype. And watching him play, I get why Eddie wanted him. He was incredible.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of like that sleeper player where it's just he's just always in the background, and then he has those flashes of brilliance and stuff against Man City. Yeah.
And let's face it, he's got the best right back in the world to learn off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Al, your thoughts on Tino Livramento?
No, well, Tino, I've seen moments of his at Chelsea and Southampton last season, where he was a great player, and I don't know, when we first signed Hall and Tino, I didn't know how to feel about spending so much money for two, young players who weren't exactly players for the moment, like
Mhm.
with the Champions League campaign and everything. We kind of seeing right now how light we are in wingers and stuff like that, or even center mids and
Centre backs, I would say, is
and center
probably
backs exactly,
yeah.
especially with Botman being out now. And so I don't know. I At first I was like, man, why couldn't we have just used that money, and players more experienced and could fill those positions that we really desperately need backup for.
Mm.
But now again, he was brilliant against Man City, and it feels good to know that if in case anything happens to Trippier, we kind of do have someone ready to go.
Oh, definitely.
Contribute definitely.
I think Hall, we wanted to sign him, but we wanted to sign him next summer. But we were forced into buying him this summer because Chelsea wanted to try and balance some books and obviously get players off. So we were kind of forced into buying him earlier than we wanted to. And we didn't want to miss out. Now, I know we haven't seen him or seen the best of him yet, but what I keep reminding people is he was in the England squad. And you're not in the England squad unless you've got something about you. And he was brought in without even kicking a ball for Newcastle into the England squad. So that tells you what England think of him. He's obviously been through the ranks with England, so he's moving on to that next level. And from what I've heard from Chelsea fans, they are devastated they've sold him.
Oh yeah. I've heard this.
And that says a lot about the young man in itself. And you know what kind of mess Chelsea are in. So there we go. John, there's a question for you. Do you think it will be easier to buy new NUFC Adidas merchandise in the USA next season than it currently is with Castore? Do you currently have to buy online, or can it be bought in super sports stores in America?
All of the guys would agree with this. You can't get any Castore here. So you can either buy it online, or I just wait till one of my trips, because I'm lucky enough that I'm retired and I go over there. But
all I can imagine now is you saying that and then having to come back with 4 suitcases for everybody in America wanting a Newcastle top.
I mean, the only time you can find any, EPL apparel in sports stores, it's Big Six clubs. Like, you can't find Newcastle stuff in stores here at all.
Yeah.
It's all online. Yeah.
I'll give you the website now. It is a fake website. Does Newcastle tops, and I tell you what, though, the copy quality is absolutely unbelievable. It's called soccer03.com. Try it out. Julie, I bought her a top for her birthday, and it comes with a Castore tag. It has all the tags inside the shirts, and it cost me a whopping £14.
Oh wow!
I think it was £17 with delivery, and they deliver anywhere in the world. It takes about 3 weeks to turn up. But I got the home top with Bruno on the back. I've worn it a few times and nothing's fallen off it yet. So the quality looks unbelievable and at the fraction of the price as well.
Yes.
So if you can't
give those as well. So yes.
Yeah, they're the badges. You've got all them on. You get the Premier League one, Champions League badge. You choose which one you want. Julie's impressed by it. It was a great birthday present for her. I couldn't afford to buy her a £70 top. She'll say she's worth it. I say she's not. Sorry, Jules, but I'm skint. So she got a £14 one instead, or £17, whatever it was. Quick to UK delivery anyhow. I think I bought it on the Brentford game because I was drunk and we were all having a drink watching the game. I said, I'll buy you a top for your birthday. And I think she got it within 10 days.
Wow. What's her name again? I'm going to put it in.
I hate saying that word because it is barred from this channel, but soccer03.com. And they do everything. 03, the number 3.
Yeah.
Oh, 0.
03.
I've had it's been a bit of a headache for me to buy gear. I think I was telling Josh on Saturday that I can't wait for Adidas to finally be the ones who make our kits now, because
well, that's part of the question. Would it be easier for you to get Adidas stuff?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, definitely.
I mean, Adidas sells apparel all over the US.
Yeah, I think the MLS is mainly Adidas. With the whole Messi deal, I think he's Adidas' star athlete, so he gets a percentage of jersey sales and stuff like that. But anyways, it's I've ordered mainly from the team store online, but So the first jersey that I purchased this season was a Pro Edition home kit, and I wanted it with Bruno G on the back, so I paid the $20 extra for that personalized.
Wow.
And they ended up sending me the Pro Edition away one, the green one, with no one on the back. So I emailed the concierge, and they sent me $20 back just for what I paid for the personalized. And I said, you know what? I'll keep it. I liked it. I'll keep it. So the very next day, my size again was available for the same Pro Edition home kit. I ordered it again, and this time I said, you know what, let me do Isak. And they did the exact same thing. They sent me the green one again.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Oh, and it was just like, wow. So now I have two green away Pro Edition ones. One of them I wear, and the other one is still in the bag with the tags and everything.
Send
And
it
I'm one
back.
of those people that doesn't like going through the hassle of returning things. So I'm just like, you know what? If somebody wants to buy it or something, I'll go ahead and sell it to them. But
I love it.
no, this one I ended up buying like 2 sizes bigger than what I am.
Well, you got to with Castora. You got to go a size
You
bigger.
have to, yeah, exactly. And then I bought on a couple of T-shirts. Those fit fine, but it's just the jerseys are a little tricky. This is, I think, I'm an extra large, and I got this as a 3XL, and
Wow.
it fits super super tight on the sleeves. I'm just like, wow, like.
That is the one thing I will recommend on this website is why you do the same thing, because I honestly believe this website is the one where the makers actually make the real tops and then ship them off, but they also sell their own as well at the same time, so cheap because they know they're going to make money on it. And I'm going to lose so much money to this website because they now have that one in stock.
Oh boy,
that is my favorite top of all time. I had Peter Beardsley 8 on the back of that one.
Yeah.
But honestly, try it out. It's an amazing website. Apart from, I'm still waiting for free tops from them.
Yeah,
Hey, Baz.
get on eBay. So, but I do every top.
Fortune.
Yeah.
So that top I just shown you is that's disappeared. Oh, there it is. £14.71.
Yeah.
Wow. So Baz, you
other
say,
ones as well. So seller.
yeah,
That's the home top. That cost $10.85.
good
It's got
grief.
the away one. It's got the pros. It's got everything on it. That's the one I bought. I'm still waiting for it though. But it's got the away one. It's got the one I'm wearing now. This is a fake one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you wouldn't tell, would you?
No.
No, I have the exact same one too.
Yeah.
So Baz, are you saying that we should order like we order from Castor, like go up a size?
Yeah, go up a size, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Honestly, soccer03.com. I'm actually very impressed with them. Apart from with my second order, which hasn't turned up yet. It hasn't even been shipped. So there's going to be an angry email sent soon. Size-wise, that site, I'm UK 8. Gents, small was spot on. So maybe just a size up. Just a size up maybe then. But they do make, honestly, the tops are brilliant. Couple of more questions before we have to go. I've heard it all from Josh already, but Cam, who was your favourite Newcastle player of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah.
I mean, growing up as a goalkeeper, I already kind of said, Jay Given has been kind of an idol of mine for years.
Good
I
choice.
thought I'll have to stick with that. And Josh went down to Atlanta for the summer series when they were in town. We got to meet him. I was so jealous.
I bet.
Yeah.
And I bet you turned to your wife to be and went, I could have met Shea Given. I don't think she realised how lucky this woman is. You could have easily just turned around, boom.
Yeah, right.
Al, who's your favourite player of all time?
It's a bit of a recent one, but I absolutely loved San Maximan. I don't know, loved him at Nice, and I was so gutted to see him leave.
Yeah,
that was definitely one of the saddest days for me. And my girlfriend makes fun of me because that day when he posted his goodbye, I went and messaged him on Instagram saying thank you and this and that. And
I think we all did, to be fair.
Man, I was gutted, but he was such an exciting player, and
he was.
I wish him all the best, But I really wish we would have had him right now, especially with Joe Linton being injured and Barnes, and Gordon's gonna be out for the West Ham game. He's suspended.
Yeah, suspended for a game. It's
So
annoying that all those yellow cards are annoying. But no, I think St. Maximum, he had to go at the point where he had to go, to be honest with you.
yeah,
I loved them, loved watching them, but there was, I don't know, there's something wasn't right. And,
yeah.
his end product wasn't what Eddie Howe wanted. And look at Gordon now. Gordon's won 2 penalties. I don't think St. Maximum ever won us a penalty in the time that he was with us. So
It's true.
that's just something about, you like to say, more direct player, where St. Maximum was more of a flair player, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's a shame it didn't work out, but it's one of those ones.
Yeah, Gordon and Anderson are probably my 2 favorites right now in the squad.
Yeah, I love Gordon. I said when we bought him, that is a hell of a signing.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stick for that as well for some strange reason. Right, last question to the night, because it is going to be quite a long answer, this one, because there's 3 of you to answer it. John's already answered this question. It's one of my favourite questions, this one. You're hosting it. Well, who wants to go first? Put your hand up. I haven't even asked the question yet, so who wants to go first? Come on. Al wants to go first. Right, so Al, you're hosting a dinner party. You're allowed to choose 3 guests. Or should we make it 4? Make it 3 to make it a bit quicker. 3 guests. A player who currently plays for the club. You pick a player who's retired. And you can pick a player who's no longer with us, as in, yeah. And why? Why would you pick these 3 players to have a dinner date with?
Current player.
You shouldn't have went first, mate.
It'd either be Dan Byrne or Sean Longstaff.
Really?
Either one of those. From the content that the Newcastle YouTube page and Twitter and Instagram provide,
they are funny.
They seem to be very funny. Very interesting guys.
Yeah.
Again, both local lads. And I don't know. I just feel like you could have a lot of funny conversations with both of them. And retired. I'd say a former goalkeeper. I always forget his name. He's a pundit on ESPN. Shaka.
Oh, Shaka Hislop.
Yeah.
Shaka.
I love when he comes on, and I don't know. He always speaks well about the club and his time here at Newcastle, and yeah. So yeah, I'd pick him. Yeah, and
someone who's no longer with us.
The ones that are no longer with us. Well, the last one that I remember passing away recently was I think, was it Gary Speed?
Yeah, Gary Speed. Yeah.
And I don't know exactly why though. Why I would pick him, but that's just the one that comes to the top of my mind. Real quick.
No, it's a good one. Gary Speed's a lot of people's choices, to be honest with you. I loved Gary Speed. I'm very fortunate to have a signed picture of him upstairs. Very sadly missed. There's been a few recently, though, hasn't there? There's been Atsu, who, in the disaster. Tiote, he was a player and a half as well. Josh Cam, who wants to go first? Now you've had time to think about it.
Sure, I'll go. So, actually, because you just mentioned him, I'll start with the player who's no longer with us. I was going to say Atsu. I think he always struck me as a very kind person. He had kind of a quiet way about him. And I just think he was at the club at a very interesting time and sort of a fringe player who had big influences when we were in the championship. And, as we broke back into the Premier League, I'd be curious to see what it was like for him, being a part of that whole transitional time for the club. Past players, as I've mentioned, I would probably have him there just for the opportunity to meet him, hear what it was like for him, kind of watching the club play the way it did in front of him, because it was a really exciting time. And then current players.
So one player. We're allowed one player.
One player. Yeah.
One player. One from each category.
Trippier.
Trippier.
He's definitely my favorite player on the squad right now.
If you really want Trippier at dinner date, doesn't drink.
You know, I think he's a down to earth kind of guy. I think he would be a very interesting person to talk to. And you know, I admire incredibly his commitment to the club and you know, being the first player to come in after the takeover and the caliber of player he is to make that switch. Yeah, I would love to have him part of that whole dinner conversation.
Love it. Good free. It's on you now, pal.
I think I'm going to go Tiote.
Yeah.
Just rounding out.
The great thing about Tiote, if you put his name in the phone, it changes it to Riot.
Yeah.
Love it.
He's such an integral part of that midfield, and of course, you know, his famous Arsenal goal, and then sadly the one that was denied against Man City a few years later.
I'm still devastated about that goal, the non-goal.
Yeah, that was that.
That hurt.
Yes, yeah. Still sticking with Keegan. Love Keegan. Definitely one of my all-time favorites. So would love to be able to have him there.
Yeah.
And
current player.
Yeah, current player. I mean, geez, that's a tough one. I mean, honestly, like, I don't even know if I don't know. I love Matt Ritchie.
Yes, he'd be a right laugh at a dinner table.
He always joked that, like, yeah, I'd probably end up in some field in Scotland in Elviswood, not knowing how I got there, because that would be a night on the town for sure with him. But yeah, I've always loved, you know, watching him play. He's like a terrier. He is just constantly going after the ball. So much energy, so much work ethic, so much pride.
Yeah,
and he would just be a blast. I think he'd be super entertaining.
People still question why he got a contract, and I did a little bit, and I thought about it, and it's what everything you just said is why he got a contract again. It's around the players. He thinks with his head. He wants to be a coach, and Eddie's keeping him close by because I think when he retires, he might offer him a place in the coaching role. So I can see why they've done it. Might think he's wasting his shirt, but you don't know what's happening on the training pitch behind closed doors, do we? So
I mean, even if he's not playing, I can imagine the way he approaches a game when he does play.
Yeah,
I can only imagine he brings that to every single training session.
Yeah,
what that does for the team, especially with a bunch of younger players, and the more younger players we have come in, those players who've been around and are, you know, at
feed off it
careers. You need that there to drive the younger players and really kind of help create the type of team that we have.
Yeah, absolutely agree. John, obviously we asked you your three a long time ago, so I'm going to let you have the final say. Who were your three?
Well, I don't know if I'll change it or anything, but
I can't remember who you chose, to be honest with you, mate. So it's all
I got reprimanded. I got reprimanded for choosing because I chose one that was not a player. I wanted to see Sir Bobby. You know,
that's why we made it 4 because you changed it.
Yeah. But you know who I like? I love every one of our players. I just love them, and just like
that's a cop-out answer.
When Saint Maximin was there, you know, I was always rooting for him to have a good game, and you know, I just like to watch him, just like Al did. And I understand it was his time to go, but yeah, I missed the guy. But my two favorite from last year were Willick and Joe Linton. The way they play, just the sheer
relationship
terror
on the pitch was good. Wasn't
my gosh, and they were just so much fun to watch. So you know, I'd be one of them.
Which one though, John? You got to pick one.
Joe Linton, because you said we don't know. Trippier doesn't drink. Well, I know Joe Linton drinks. So yeah, Joe Linton and Shearer from the past.
Yeah.
Just what a great ambassador for the club. And
he definitely drinks.
Yeah.
And the player no longer with us.
Well, I picked Sir Bobby Robson, so
I'll let you have him.
He wasn't a player, but very important
He was.
I guess Keegan. You could say Keegan. Well, no, Keegan's still alive. Keegan's still very much alive. He just
Come on,
needs.
not breaking news, people. That is not breaking news. Keegan is alive and well.
I know. I made a mistake there. I'm sorry. No, he just needs to get back associated with the club.
He does.
Like Shearer, does things for the club. But
Baz drinks too well for a bit.
Baz drinks too.
I don't drink anymore, like in the house or go to the pub very often. So when I go out, I try and keep up with people, and it's not a pretty sight.
No. Well, match day, we're all allowed to do what we want.
Exactly. And I enjoyed it. It was a good game against Brentford in the pub. And hopefully, fingers crossed, all being well, I'll see you in December.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to that.
Unfortunately, I have ended up getting the 24th of November off, but I remembered the date for some strange reason. And I'm like, why can't I go on the 24th? And it's like, oh, yeah, it's my son's birthday.
Oh, bring him with you.
My firstborn is going to be 5, and I couldn't remember when his birthday was. Like, oh, God, here we go. But no, that's it. So it's unfortunately fell wrong for me. But the following week, I'm off work, and I'll definitely be meeting up with whoever's coming over. I know, John, you're definitely coming over. Any of you guys coming over?
Jeez, I wish.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm going over for the Chelsea match, and then I'm staying over for the next week to watch Man United.
Yes.
And I've got Shade and Eddie from San Diego going to join me, so we will have a good time.
Oh yes, we're going to enjoy it. I don't think I'll be up Boxing Day, unfortunately. That's family stuff in it. I'm stuck in York, so I won't be up for that. But I might be up for New Year. Fingers crossed. I hope so. Well, I've really enjoyed doing this. It's been an absolute blast. We've flown through an hour. I can't believe it's actually been an hour. You put a smile on my face, so thank you very much. And anyone who's watching them, they seem to enjoy it as well. Any final words?
I got one. I just wanted to thank Al. I had a hard time reaching you, Al. I'm so happy that you joined us. It's great. It's great to have you. And Cam, of course, and of course, Josh. Always good to talk to you guys, and we'll do it again.
Oh, 100%. And Al, I'm sorry I didn't remember that you were meant to come on the show. The way you messaged me, it was just like, I would like to come on your show. I was like, oh, John sorted all that out. And I was like, wait a minute. I had to go back through my messages. Oh, yeah, you're Al. Oh, yeah, crap. Here's the thing. It's been a long day.
We're excited to have Al. Yeah. I'm so glad he found us and got connected with us. We're excited for him in future games. And I was even also going to say, as far as the drones, definitely not over the top. He's talking to a group that has a life-size cardboard cutout of Alan Shearer that we bring to matches.
Yes.
Our good friend actually started up his own Twitter handle for him, so you can give Mile High Shearer a follow.
Yes,
Mile High Shearer.
Yes.
Mile High Shearer.
Yes, the most famous 2D person, I think, with a Twitter.
Absolutely brilliant. I love it. I am looking forward to the drones, to be honest with you. That just looks spectacular, doesn't it, over the city? And yeah, it's going to be good.
I hope they cover them. I think that we might pick up more from fans putting it on Twitter than we do from the day of the match.
I think you'll probably get better pictures from people who are outside St James's Park, a bit further away, and recording it. They'll be the counts to look out for. People at the game probably not going to see it as well as what they, depending on where you sit, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's going to be good. Massive shout out for our sponsor, Diet Crow. Before we go, please buy a t-shirt if you like them. They're brilliant. Nick Pope, the wall, Highway the lads. There's loads of stuff there. Anyone who watches the show or who wants a t-shirt, there's the code for 20% off. Baz20 is the code. So please get buying. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button to support myself. And also, this is John's show. He says it's not, but it is John's show. The only reason why I started doing it is because of John's story. And I'm loving hearing everyone else's stories as well.
Thank you, Baz. And there's so many people, so many Americans like these three lads here that have a great story. And we'll get in touch with them.
Yes, we will. And that's what we want. We want more and more stories. I hope you all enjoy the match on Wednesday. Was it at a decent time for you this time?
1 p.m. Yeah.
That's really good.
Decent, yeah.
That's a good time to start drinking.
Right in the middle of my work. But boss might not agree with you. Yes.
What boss? What work? It's Wednesday. It's Champions League. No such thing as a boss. I love it. Right. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on again. And we'll see you all again in about 2 weeks' time, maybe a little bit less, depending on how my shifts fall and also what John's doing as well. But we will try and get another show in the next 2 weeks. And keep an eye out. Tomorrow, we're going to look ahead at 8 o'clock to the game on Wednesday. I won't be on it. Gary will be doing it. And we're doing a watch-along on Wednesday night as well. That'll be Gary as well. Because hopefully the train strikes aren't going to affect me and I'm going to make it to the game. Fingers crossed. Good night, everyone.
Nice.